Hi everyone, welcome back to RC Pi. Thanks for tuning in. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do. It'd be a big help. I need to try and get those subscriber numbers up, so please just click that subscribe and help me out. Today, I'm quite excited because the postman's been again and he's brought me a nice new box. A nice big box. You can see the logo on there, RGT. And, well, what have we got here? I can't tell you the number of it, because you know what RGT are like. They're a bit of a nightmare just using numbers. But the EX86180Pro orange version. So it says. So let's get this open and see what's what. Now, this has been somewhat delayed in arriving. I ordered this whilst it was still at the factory, so I was expecting it to be here about, well, nearly a month ago, but it's just arrived today, finally. So let's get it out of here and see what we've got. Apart from a crushed box as usual, here we are. The Tracer. So they are going bigger on names now. It's about time. It's just a bit of a shame that the name Tracer already clashes with an FTX model. And as FTX tend to relabel these RGTs, that might cause some naming issues. It's a shame that they haven't thought about that. But there we go. So what is it? 1/10 scale, electric, ready to run rock crawler, metal upgrades, 4-wheel steering, 4x4, waterproof. So what have we got on here? What does it tell us? It's got metal portal axles, so that's pretty cool, pretty exciting. Let's have a look around the front. We can see carbon chassis rails. That's pretty cool. What else does it say on the box here? So carbon chassis rails, carbon battery tray, metal bumper, hook and winch. Winch? Has it got a winch, really? We will see. Servo mounted on axles, yeah, for the 4-wheel steering. Adjustable aluminium shocks, so that's cool. Cast metal portal axles, agile Ackerman steering angles. Okay, so it's got that like caster angle on the steering. Metal gears. Does that say metal drive shafts? Quality CVD, so it doesn't say that they're metal. Quality rubber sealed ball bearings, that's nice, sealed bearings. Cool, well, we'll have a look. Oh, that looks like, yeah, steel CVDs. So that's cool. One of my immediate thoughts with this is that the tyres are the same as the Rescuer, which is a bit of a shame because of all the things on the Rescuer. The tyres are probably the thing that lets it down a little bit. So I can imagine for this, what everyone has speculated is a low centre of gravity crawler. I think we're going to be wanting sticky tyres. So is there anything else on this box that I've missed? 15 kilo servos, it would seem. Nothing else that amazing. We've got the dimensions here. So 313mm wheelbase, 450mm total length, 252mm track width, and it says it's got a central ground clearance of 65mm and 48 at the pumpkins. If that's the case, that's fairly impressive. Okay, so what have we got? We've got the manual. Let's have a look at this. If I can get it open. Now the manual for the Rescuer I thought was quite impressive, so let's have a look at this one. All the usual setup things. I'm assuming this hasn't got a battery, but I had a happy surprise with the Rescuer, so we will see. All the usual setup, troubleshooting, and then these exploded diagrams with all the part numbers. Really, really useful. You could basically build this from parts just using that, and then a list of spare parts at the back. Now, when these will become available, I do not know, because I've already tried to get spare parts for the Rescuer and I've had a bit of trouble. So that's one of the small issues with getting a car when it's brand new out. But, you know, you pays your money and you takes your chance. Right, usual wrapping from RGT for the transmitter. And what have we got here? I don't know whose this is. It's not the Dumbo RC that we've seen on some others. What have we got under here? Well, we've got obviously our main 1 and 2 channels. There's a channel 3, which is a 3-position switch. Channel 4 is a button. Then under here we've got a steering reverse and a throttle reverse. We've got a bind button, steering trim, throttle trim, and steering trim. Okay, for the front and back steering. Okay, doesn't feel too bad. Not too big, not too small. For single-handed steering, it's a little bit far away from your thumb. So we'd probably need to put something on there. Even just a bit of foam, something like that. But that would help. So we'll put that to one side. And get in here. Okay. Look, let's get these zip ties cut. Maybe I should have got some snips handy for this. One. You know, you try and do this calmly, and you'll work. Right, that should be it. That should be all the knife work. Lift this out. Get rid of this cardboard. Wow, solid. Pull these zip ties out of these wheels. I've got to say, straight away, it feels heavy. Really, really heavy. Wow. I mean, compared to the Rescuer, that is a heavy beast. But it feels solid. The body, decent sort of thickness. It's you know, it's that kind of narrow track body that you tend to see on a lot of crawlers, a lot of low centre of gravity crawlers. To me, I struggle to call that a low centre of gravity crawler because it's riding a bit high. I don't know, it's got a big body. I mean, maybe it could be set to sit down more. Yeah, there's plenty on these shocks. They've been set quite high. Don't know whether you can see in there. We'll take the body off and we'll have a look. straightforward, 4 body pins, just what you'd expect on any sort of standard old school RC car. This is an interesting one on the body. This is a plastic faux engine head and air intake, carburettor, I suppose, up there. Yeah, just held in with 2 screws there. Now, I'm not sure about that. You know, we could argue it looks cool or doesn't look cool. That's personal choice. But the only thing I'm thinking is that is an obvious roll point. That's an obvious contact point. And not only is it going to get damaged if you roll, but it's also potentially going to compromise all the front of the car. As you start getting some wear on those screw points, just a couple of hex bolts there. But I don't know, we'll see. Moulding on this, don't know, it doesn't, to me, this doesn't look like a brilliant quality body. This looks like it's a bit thin here, so how that will stand up, I don't know. What is quite nice, a lot of people have moaned about other cars not having clear windows. Now these are tinted, but there's definitely scope there if you wanted to put something inside. People do like to put interiors in. I don't know whether you would on this car. You know, it's not that kind of scale model, but overall, not too bad. Not too bad a body. You know, finished off nicely. Stickers on it are nice. Stickers for the windscreen wipers. I like the little rear window there, that's kind of cool. It's okay, it's okay. It stands out a bit, that's quite an unusual colour. I don't know whether that comes out on the camera, but it's kind of reddy orange, orangey red. But yeah, quite a nice and slightly unusual colour. Right, so what have we got? Well, when it said winch, it's definitely not going to winch. I think it's just talking about this portal here that a winch could go through. And I guess these are potential mounting points for a winch. Now, I've got a plate here off a different winch, so that would mount perfectly on there. So if you wanted to put a winch on, let's have a look. I guess, well, you'd mount it underneath, wouldn't you? Yeah, it would be mounted from underneath. So that wouldn't be a problem for the body. Winch would be under here, and then your rope coming through that hole, that portal. So that could work. Okay, that's interesting that they've actually put winch mounts, because a lot of cars you want to put a winch on and they just don't fit. Can tell that the gearing's right for a crawler. It's not moving at all. That's not a bad sign. It looks like we've got a quick run 1060 there, speed controller, recognisable to everybody, hiding in there. They've put the power switch underneath, which is nice and handy, nice and easy to get at. I'll just have a look underneath now. Right, so we've got the metal drive shafts, we've got these metal portal axles, they look nice with separate metal pumpkin covers there. Sturdy looking bracket holding the servo onto the axle. So that's nice. See how these servos are. They might need upgrading, of course, who knows. Plastic, 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 as you'd expect. We've got high clearance links. These suspension links are high clearance ones with those bends on there. It's kind of what you'd expect on an upgraded car. You know, this is being sold as an upgraded car. You'd see that angle here, the steering angle, that Ackerman angle on both front and back. That's quite interesting. But the drive shafts are entering the gearboxes at the right angle. They are going in straight, so that's great. So it's not been forced, it is because these have been designed properly, these hubs. So that's looking quite nice. Wheels, I can't tell. Yeah, they are, I think they are bead locks. What they've done, they've moulded these rings. I think these are the beadlock rings, are real beadlock rings. But most of these little bolts are moulded. So we've got a real one there, moulded, 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 real, moulded, 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 real. So we've got 4 bolts. So how good those are going to be as beadlocks, don't know. But the plus side is that we should be able to get those tyres out cleanly, because I presume they're not going to be glued if they are held in on beadlocks. So that's quite a good thing. So what else have we got? This carbon chassis, big carbon chassis rails. Let's check the size of that. That's look. Now it said 4mm. I think it said 4mm on the box and on all the bump, but I'm getting slightly more here. Oh no, that looks like 4. Just this end looks a bit thicker. But yeah, 4 or a little bit more than 4mm on that, so that should be pretty strong. It looks like a hefty chassis. That's attractive to me after what happened to me with the Rescuer recently. That video is going to be going up in the next couple of days, so you might find that interesting. Watch this space. But yeah, hopefully that will mean those don't bend at all. We've got 1, 2, 3 separate braces there, as well as the front bumper and the central gearbox, and I can't think what it's called, but the base plate that the suspension fastens onto, as well as that carbon battery tray. So you've got quite a lot of points there to keep all this very, very stiff. Oh, well, that's quite a nice feature that I hadn't spotted in the specs. Along the edge of these fairly standard side trays, you've got some metal runners. So those are going to protect you against the rock and hopefully make it slide a little bit better. So that's pretty cool. These shocks look really, really nice. Feels like they are fairly well sprung. Feels like there is oil in there because they're not just bouncing around. So that's not bad at all. I mean, it's all looking good. We've got this RGT brushed motor, 20 turn, rock crawler. And the receiver is going to be in the box there. Now it said waterproof. Whether this is a waterproof receiver or whether it has been waterproofed, don't know. We'll probably have to investigate that box and see what's in. In fact, shall we have a look at that now? See what's inside, see if it's been waterproofed. You know, the simplest thing that I do with these, open up the box, stick the receiver into a balloon, zip tie the balloon, and put it back in the box. Nice and simple. And unless you're turning your car into a submarine, which all the manuals tend to say don't do, you shouldn't really be having any issue with that. You'd be very, very unlucky to get water in through that setup. I've never had an issue. Right, we've got a tiny receiver in there. So it's not been waterproofed. Fly Sky. Right, it's a Fly Sky. Oh, that's quite interesting. 2.4 gigahertz ANT. So I wonder whether I can bind this to my Fly Sky GT5. That would be quite nice. And then I've got all the channel control that I could possibly want on that as well, and the ability to add more channels, because this is currently coming in at 3 channels, with 2 steering and 1 for the speed controller. Well, what else is there to say about it? I mean, it looks like a lovely piece of kit. It really does. I'm really looking forward to giving it a go, seeing what it's made of. I was right about there not being a battery this time, so it looks like you should be able to get any sort of standard battery pack in there. It's that adjustable. That might, no, I don't think that is adjustable. So hopefully that is long enough for a hard pack. It definitely looks like a soft pack would fit in there. I would be surprised if they'd done it so a hard pack won't fit, but let's see. So that's definitely going to mean that you've got a bit more forward weight bias with the motor in the middle. That's just going to tip it forward a little bit. And this bumper is probably already taking it forward a little bit. Suspension wise, there's a lot of possible adjustment here. Apart from all these holes here, you've also got more forward ones, so you could really ramp that in, or potentially even change it over to a cantilever setup. I suppose that's possible. We shall see. I thought I'd take you through a bit closer up. So we'll get the body off. Just those 4 pins, as you've seen. One thing I didn't mention on the body, or on these rails, these side rails, do also hold the body in position. So that's going to save damage to that polycarbonate as well. So that's cool. Right, so as you can see, I've put a hard case battery in there, LiPo, so that fits absolutely fine on that carbon fibre tray. I've also switched around these Velcro straps so that now they're not resting on the motor, which really didn't seem like a good idea, so that seems a lot better. They're a little bit long. You know, maybe if you're putting a 3S in, might be a bit deeper, but for a 2S they are actually a little bit long, but they should be okay. Right, so what else can we see from here? Now you can see a bit closer. You see that bumper, that metal bumper, and the 3 metal braces there. 20 turn RGT rock crawler motor, 1060 quick run speed controller, and there's the box for the receiver, which we found out was a, what was it? It was a, I can't think now, a Fly Sky. Got those 2 15 kilo RGT branded servos, so we'll see what those are up to. My only concern with the mounting of these servos, on the front it seems absolutely fine. You can reach full travel on each side, no problem at all. You'll get people that will look at this and say, oh, you can't get full travel on all the front at the same time, that's getting blocked out. Which, you know, you could argue there's some truth to, but you never need full travel on both front wheels, on the whole axle, at either front or back. That's just not the case. It's not a speed monster that's hitting a big bump and needs to lift up a whole axle. That's not what we're doing when we're crawling. On the back though, when we're on full travel, let's see if I can show you this. When we're on full travel, the servo is just, or the servo mount is just colliding here with the bottom of these body posts. Now there's a bit of the body post which is sticking out at the bottom of this mount, so it would be possible that if you just cut off there, that would be just enough, because it looks like the shocks are bottoming out there anyway, so it's just touching. So it's not really, you're not really losing anything. And in fact, when it's on one side, then it's not touching at all. But that might be something that would concern some people. For me, that's not a concern. Oh, I can see a bolt there that's not fully screwed in. So I need to sort that out before I have a run. Yeah, we've got those full, let's turn it over. Those full metal portal axles, which have got good clearance. The pumpkins don't protrude massively, so that's cool. The steering angle on those, the maximum steering angle seems to be very good. That's good as well. Metal drive shafts, these high clearance links, as you can see there, high clearance bent links front and rear. Not a lot more to tell you that you haven't already seen from a bit more of a distance, just a chance to see it a bit closer up. That centrally mounted motor and gearbox in there. No idea what pitch the pinions are there or what sort of setup you've got for changing it, but we can look into that at some point. But overall, you know, it's looking like a very, very nice motor. I'll just show you the steering from here whilst it's nice and close. So again, just to make it clear, it's this button on the transmitter, this channel 4 button. So on there, so we're on front steering, press the button, crab steering, press the button, full maximum lock, front and rear, press the button, rear steering, press it again, back to front. Oops. Right, we'll turn that off. So I've taken the pumpkin cover off. Just remove that, just the 4 bolts to remove that as usual. Just to have a look at this rear. I don't like calling it a diff because it's not a diff. But seemingly the RC world still likes to call it a diff, even though it's not. But there we go, I was just looking at the level of grease in there. It's not too bad actually. I've seen a lot worse. It could probably do with a little bit more, but I might just give it a run like that first before I start taking things apart. One of the issues, you know, we spotted that loose bolt. One of the issues when you're using all metal parts like these axles and the hubs and everything, the hub carriers, you do need to make sure that you've got thread lock on everything. Otherwise, as soon as you start running, these are going to all vibrate loose. I've had it when I've upgraded, like my little MN99. You go out on the trail and all of a sudden you've got things falling off. So just be wary. Just check all your bolts. You might want to add a bit of thread lock before you get going. Okay. Well, is there anything else to say? I'm not sure there is. It does look like a lovely unit. As I say, the only thing that I can immediately think I'm probably going to want to change those is these tyres. Because having driven with them quite a lot now on the Rescuer, they're good all-rounders, but for pure rock gripping, they're probably lacking a little bit. They're probably a little bit hard for rock. But I think we want to try it like this. We'll give it a few runs like this, see how it works, and then probably change it over to some different rubber and see what performance differences we can get out of that. So I hope that's been helpful for you. If there's anything you want to know about it, please leave me a message. Let me know what's what, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and we will get it out for some trial runs. So please subscribe to the channel. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll give away a free gift randomly to somebody. and then hopefully we'll do that every time we add a 0 onto that number. Yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching RC Pi. We'll see you soon.